Buenos dias. Great and beautiful morning, everyone. It is the 5th day of the week, and we are the 8th of December. I don't know, automatically, I guess this month is already going by kind of slow for me. I guess I just want the year to be over. Anyways, all right, people, we are in continuation. I don't know where I left off, but this time I do have my pen on me somewhere. And we are going to continue covering these four messengers, these four angels. Okay, hopefully the meaning of the word messenger in here has made this clear, that they're not just four beings with wings standing in the four corners of the earth with, holding the winds per se, but holding the winds of war. Okay, if y'all have studied prophecy, then y'all will know that that's what it means. The winds of war, so to speak, are being held back. There's wars and abundant, but per se, the nuclear part of it is being held back. Okay, so we covered a little bit of the prophecies and how all these things are tied in together with the book of Daniel and the peace treaty. And I was looking at a video, I was watching a video earlier when I got up. I was listening to some music, and that Abraham Accord came to my mind. And even though it was about an hour ago, it mentions 70 years. And I was like, no. Sometimes when you hear prophecies being mentioned, maybe your pastor or you watch a YouTube video and then you see videos like that, and like 70 years, it makes sense, So I'm gonna look into it some more on this Abraham Accord. And like I stated, I'm just willing to bet something might come to pass here next year, after 3.5 years after President Trump signed that accord. If nothing comes, then nothing comes, but at least I made that clear to myself and my viewers. Cheers, coffee drinkers. Okay, so we're going to continue here. Remember, people, don't always take the Bible literal. Don't take it too literal. There's a lot of words and phrases, again, that mean different things in different areas. Okay, the House of Yahweh, thankfully, does a great job in breaking these words down for us to get some understanding. Okay, so it's kind of hard for me to say, and I'll say it anyways, but if you have no guidance through the Holy Scriptures, through Yahweh's Holy Spirit, or anybody that might have Yahweh's Holy Spirit as a guide, you're never going to have these understandings made clear to you. That's why you need one of these. Okay, this is Strong's, or the New Strong's Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible. I highly recommend y'all get one of these. They're very, very helpful. Okay, I bought mine back in 2016, I think, or early 2017, and I came across something like this in the feds. I said, I'm gonna buy me one. So y'all get one, people. They're very helpful. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start covering right here and talking about these four messengers, these wars. All these characters that are included in these prophecies are coming to light, and I will bring those out to you. Okay, this next section here is the quartet given power over 1/4 part of the earth to kill with wars, famines, and disease epidemics. This is the four messengers of Revelation continued. Part 2. These prophecies are being fulfilled faster than you can keep up with them if you'll notice what is taking place in the news. I've said that more or less, más o menos, a couple of times. We'll start with some prophecy here to show you what is being fulfilled at this time. Starting in Revelation 6, this is speaking of the quartet. I would that I've written more on the quartet in the 70s. I knew about the quartet and I mentioned the quartet, but we could have put much more emphasis in the Mark of the Beast, Volume 1, and it would have meant more than it does today. However, we did start writing about it more and bringing more on it before it ever took place, before the quartet was ever formed. Here in Revelation 6, we see this quartet, and Revelation 7, we see that they hold the power of the nations. If you look back to chapter 6, you see the power that they're holding here. Notice in Revelation 7:1, and after these things I saw 4 messengers standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds. They're holding the 4 winds, that is, they're holding that power, that authority. You must look back to chapter 6 of Revelation to see what authority here they're holding and what they have been given power to do. Notice in Revelation 6:8 says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and the name of him who sat upon it was Death, and Sheol, the grave, followed with him. The quartet has this power. This pale horse, it means death, muerte, or I guess in the Greek or the Latin means mort. Come to think of it, you ever heard of that last name Mortimer or first name Mortimer? That means that's another tongue for Dead Sea. Morti means dead, muerto. Mer or mar means sea. Mortimer, Dead Sea. This is from inform.kz. Ramal, this is the quartet to unveil Medi's plan soon. Blair. Ramallah, May to Kazinform. The quartet envoy Tony Blair yesterday said that a new framework for Middle East peace talks may emerge in the coming weeks as Israeli and Palestinian leaders visit Washington. We're about to get a new framework. I can only speculate right now about what that framework will be. The reason I say people should be more helpful is that this is a framework that is being worked on at the highest level of the American administration and the rest of the international community, Blair told Palestinian journalists in West Bank city of Ramallah. Kazinform refers to the Arab news. Inform.kz. Power was given unto the quartet. This power is given unto them by a beastly system, and these are 4 governments here that they are agreeing with the beastly system to bring this about. We're not, here we go, we're not the only ones who wrote about this. Okay? Again, like I stated a few videos back, the House of Yahweh never said they were the only ones prophesying these things. Okay. The Catholic priest Malachi Martin wrote about this in his book, The Keys of This Blood. He was showing the plans of the Catholic Church and the ones who really run the Catholic Church. They have so much money that they can buy politicians, judges, and so forth, and have them working for them to bring about their will. Mostly based on how to gain more money and power. There you go. So for those of y'all, if you're Catholic and you thought the Pope was just a holy person, he's anything but. Just because he dresses in white doesn't mean he's a saint. Let's see. That's what their plans are based on. There are other books being written by other people. We're not the only ones who have written about them. Malachi Martin showed the plans of the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is the supreme leader of the nations today. Yahweh allows what is taking place. If y'all ever get the chance to purchase or read online 50 Years in the Church of Rome by Thomas Chinicki, or Chiki. That one is it's loaded. It tells you who actually killed Kennedy. And like I've been saying here in my videos every now and then, it was the Jesuits. The Jesuits killed Kennedy. Okay, just so you guys know. Revelation 6:8 says, and power was given to them, that is the quartet, over a fourth part of the earth to kill with sword and with hunger. That's famine, and with pestilence. Now these are disease epidemics, the same under the authority of the beast of the earth. Daniel 7 shows you the beasts are governments. Remember the beast of the earth. Then Daniel 7:11. I beheld then because of the voice of the great words. That's the proclamation of laws as the Senate does. They proclaimed these laws and they passed them, laws that will help them to accomplish according to their laws and what they want to accomplish. Revelation 7:11, which the horn spoke. I guess all in all, as I read these words, they're trying to formulate a one world government, but they're trying to formulate everything, I would speculate, only to have everybody working probably Monday through Saturday and just rest on Sunday, your National Sunday Law. Okay. See, it's not them, it's the horn. The little horn is the leader of the Catholic Church, the spokesman who is the Pope of the Catholic Church. Notice in Revelation 7:11, I beheld unto the beast was slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. That's the government slain. This beast that is put together here is going to be slain. The burning flame is nuclear wars, the nuclear wars that he himself has created through the nations. This is the same thing that's going to destroy the Catholic Church. Notice in Revelation 7:12, as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their governments taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. So these are the governments of the earth that he is speaking of here that are taken away. The governments are taken away. Go back to Revelation 6 and read it again. Revelation 6:8 says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and the name of him who sat upon it was Death. And Sheol, the grave, followed with him, and power was given to them. Not just to him, he was the leader, like President Bush used to be the leader of the quartet. To kill now. It's given to them to kill, to get rid of people over a fourth part of the earth with hunger and pestilence, or to depopulate the earth, right? This is the beastly system spoken of by Daniel that's led by the horn. When Malachi Martin came out with his work, The Keys of This Blood, and showed the plans of the Catholic Church, I said, this is it. This is exactly what the scriptures shows here. So people, again, if I mentioned these books to you or to anybody, for those of y'all who don't believe anything, like, it was a man who wrote that book. It doesn't really matter. He's a Catholic. You're going to trust a Catholic? He's telling you all these things. And, people just make all kinds of excuses not to believe anything. But like I've also stated, when the poop hits the fan, that's when people start worrying about it. Just like I said about when people, like the other day that I had to go over to the next town over in Uvalde, next 3 towns over, we had a mist and a fog almost all the way over there. And when I got there, I put up a post that says, people are not going to worry until it happens to them. Turn on your lights in this weather. But people are like, you know how people are. There's people like that everywhere. I'm sure you guys know a couple like that, maybe in your hometown. But like I said, people, you can only lead the jackass to water. All right. And that stretch of highway has been known as a death highway because there's been a lot of accidents over there, going over there. This is the little section here. It's called the waiting season. Kukui. You see the house of Yahweh pictured when you go on down to Revelation 6, 9, 11. That's the house of Yahweh, and the waiting season that we're in right now. Excuse me. Where we're waiting and wanting to know how long. Oh, excuse me. Coffee. Notice now in Revelation 6:12 and 13, and I looked when he had opened the sixth seal, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth. These are the powers of the heavens being shaken. We can see that this could take place right now. They can actually knock satellites out of the sky. They can knock most anything out of the sky with the huge firepower that they have. You know, we were discussing these prophecies in the feds when I was still locked up with this other guy. Nelson was his last name. Real nice guy. He says, would you, or something like, would you believe it that about not hurting the earth and the sea and the trees, he says, could be an EMP? And I'm like, and then he looked at me, he's like, do you know what I said, yeah, I know what an EMP is. I said, I know what an EMP is. I said, I mean, it's possible. I mean, we have that technology today. I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming because, like I stated, we see it in movies and we read about it in books. And yeah, an EMP can knock out everything. All our technology can be knocked out. An ex-girlfriend of mine years back in 17 or 18, she sent me this video of this guy that was talking about EMPs, that Russia or somebody was going to come over here and knock out all our technology. And I'm like, I don't believe in that. I mean, believe it when it comes to pass, right? But it's possible, people. It is very possible. And even then, our government, I believe, would be behind it. Just like I believe our government was behind the 9/11 bombings. For you proud American lovers don't want to believe it, that's fine. That's on you guys. That is on you guys. But propaganda is what the government uses to do stuff. Okay. You know, we're supposed to have this American security tighter than a tick's ass, but here we have, you know, supposed terrorists taking over our planes and then knocking down 2 of our buildings. Now, I don't buy it. Just like I told you about JFK, they made this other guy look guilty because they probably brainwashed him. And they use what's even been out since back then. It's called the MK something, where they, you know, they wash that subconscious part of your mind and they can control you, something like that. Like I said, people, I've done a little bit of studying here and there a little too, you know, and a lot of these things are possible. I mean, like I was telling you all about the DEA, they're programmed not to listen to what they can't use against you. Okay. That's why it pretty much says anything you say, anything, not everything, just anything. I mean, just y'all have to see it from my side, but you know, they're not there to listen to you crying. Oh, I'm sorry. They're just there, you know, like, okay, what's, you know, tell us what else next and whatever else. But these people that work, that are cops, more or less, anything that wears a badge, pretty much, they're trained like that to not give a hoot, not care about you, and they'll tell you, well, it's nothing personal, you know. But anyways, so yeah, people, it's, I mean, if you guys are proud Americans, that's fine. And if you don't believe we're supposed to be here in your country, I'm in Texas and I'm originally in Mexico anyway, so you leave. Y'all can stay. I really don't care, but that's what I'm saying. There's all these proud white Americans that if you're one of them, that's fine. If you true wholeheartedly believe that you live in the best nation in the world, that's fine too. Okay. But I've never been a proud American, and if I was an ignorant proud American because I didn't know what it was I didn't know what to be proud of. Okay. Uh, I don't look at my soldiers per se, and I say my because my American soldiers, and salute them or proud to have those guys, because that is the choice they're making on their own free will, so that I can continue having my own free will. Okay, that is their choice, and this is my choice, and that is how I think now. Okay, but I'm not gonna be raising no flags on the 4th of July and celebrating pagan holidays along with it, and then y'all try to make me seem like I'm the bad guy. No. Okay. If you do a little bit of reading, people, about your government, you'll find out a lot of things. A lot of things. Anyways, okay. So yeah, our own government, even with these prophecies, is doing a lot of crap that behind our backs. I mean, it's only obvious they're not gonna tell us everything they're doing, because we do have a lot of snitches out in the world. Okay, continuing here. Anyways, they have deceived the nations in this manner to actually make fire come down from heaven, out of heaven, with these nuclear explosions. The United States is stronger with this than any nation on the earth. It's given to the United States, the citizens of the United States, the deceptions in their minds that this will always assure them peace and power over the other nations. It's in their mind that they can win these wars. Well, if we had to separate every single war, even the Civil War, it has brought nothing but hatred. Blacks against whites, whites against blacks, blacks against Mexicans, Mexicans against whites, and so on and so on and so on. That's all those wars have ever done for people. You know, you have per se, we have racist people in every culture. Whites, blacks, Mexicans, and wherever else. Okay. We even have, like I was saying a while back, our own Mexican people here hating Mexicans from Mexico or from South America. Well, they're not Mexicans, they're South Americans, but still, this is exactly how this country runs. It runs on hatred. It runs on greed. It runs on lusts. It runs on murders, rapes, and it most definitely runs on drugs. But yeah, be a proud American, people. That is how your country is being run. Okay. This is at the end of this period, and Isaiah said the same thing. He saw the heavens being rolled back as a scroll. It would have to be because in a very few hours of time or matter of days, all life would disappear in the oceans, on the earth, including man, animals, and everything. All life as we know it would disappear very suddenly and in a very short time without the sun and its rays coming to the earth. This just made me think of two movies that I can think of right now. The Road with that Viggo Mortensen, and the one with the Denzel Washington, The Book of Eli. Great movies. Very post-apocalyptic. So the heavens have to depart here, and this act of Yahweh is to roll this back to save his house and save the earth from total death. Notice in Revelation 6:14, and the heaven departed like a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Let's see. I think I'm going to cover this last section here in just this one video. And here is also the measurements, the blueprints per se of the temple. Yeah, it's going to be a short one. Just probably 2 videos for this one. Anyways, okay. This next section here is called famines, pestilences, and earthquakes. Notice in Matthew 24:7. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and pestilences, disease epidemics, and earthquakes in place after place. Famines in this time period. The pestilences are the disease epidemics. Yahweh shows these disease epidemics in another prophecy. Earthquakes are natural disasters. We have seen these increasing. These things are going to take place in a very short time. The wars will start in that fourth part of the earth. They'll escalate until that third part of man is killed there. It won't stop there. Yahweh shows that it won't stop there. Yahweh shows these things will take a few weeks or maybe a month, but it's going to keep escalating until the point comes to where there's an all-out war. Excuse me. If we look back to Revelation 13, we see we are standing in this time period right here. We see this first beast rose up out of the sea in Revelation 13:1. Revelation 17:15 says, the waters which you saw are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues, which was the one spoken of by Daniel the prophet. It was the Holy Roman Empire. That's what they called it. The Holy Roman Empire. And of course, that's where they made the emperors the popes. Constantine was one of them that Daniel said will think to change times and laws. Again, people, whatever Yahweh has said or commanded cannot be done away with. I can only imagine, or probably can't, the wisdom Yahweh has, but has given us enough to have an understanding of what it is to be or have true love between the nations, tongues, and languages. But the love of many, like it says in Matthew 24, has grown cold. Just recently, they sentenced this guy that's an ex-Border Patrol, or was ex-Border Patrol down here in Laredo, to life in prison. And y'all should have read some of the comments, some of the people, all these people, haters per se, become judges. One lady said they should give him the chair. Another guy said, I would if I was the judge. And I'm like, who made you judges? We shouldn't condemn people who bring no harm to us, like it says in Psalms or Proverbs. Okay. But the typical person has always said, well, God bless you if nobody ever kills your mom or your sister. Like, that's all they know how to say. That's all they know how to say. Obviously, they're not learning the true love in their churches. Let the court system handle it, people. It's not up to you nor up to me to judge this guy. Okay. But when you think about it, supposedly these 4 women he killed were prostitutes. So, to me, I guess they call it capital murder, I guess, on the severity. This guy shot this girl here or whatever, the mandibula, whatever they call it. He, I guess, I don't know if he raped. I didn't read much on it. Just the fact that he supposedly killed these 4 women, young women, and dumped their bodies on the side of the highway on I-35 coming out of Laredo. And yet you have all these people condemning this guy. It's like I said, people, it's not his fault. He's not perfect like you. Okay? It's not his fault. He's not perfect. Just like everybody else. And I mean, I didn't put those comments, but I said, I put buenos dias, except to all the judges on here that are condemning this guy, which brought no harm to you. And they just put the laughing emoji. That's all people know how to do anyways. They can't say anything else because they know that they're wrong for making those kind of statements. But here's the deal, people. He got sentenced by the court system of this country, of the state, whatever, to life in prison. Okay. And just for example, if I was one of those guys condemning this guy, yeah, F him, give him the chair, do the same thing to him, that's what people were saying as well, is do the same thing to him, or something like that. But I would shut right the hell up if somebody in my family, per se, my blood uncles or cousins killed somebody. I'm gonna shut right up and say, no, I am not gonna condemn my own cousin. Nobody would, right? That's why people shut up. Don't be condemning anybody, because hopefully, Yahweh willing, it does not come to your family. Somebody in your family murder somebody, because that's gonna make you go, I know it will. I know it will. Okay? So we shouldn't be condemning anybody, people. But like I said, do whatever you want to do and believe whatever you want to believe. But don't ever proclaim to be holy or a saint or a very nice guy when you're condemning people like that, especially if you don't even know who the hell they are. All right. Okay. These are the things let's see. Okay, these are the things that he changed. He rose up out of the peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages. That's what Daniel said this government came out of, and their teachings devoured. Talked about this extensively. What is, they took in the whole earth. What teachings? Well, of course, anything and everything that had to do with God worship or idolatry. And anything that was with Yahweh and his laws and Yeshua, they don't teach. Obviously, right? Well, of course, the teachings of rebellion, the Nimrod system. Remember, the Greek word for Catholic is kathalou, and it means universal. So they worship every and any God that they can find. The Catholic Church brought this forth rebellion against the laws of Yahweh. Just say no to the laws. That's what Satan tells you to do. Check this out. I follow my share of people on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. And speaking of God, this is what and I'm going to put it here so y'all can read it like I did the other one. When the guy says, wait, there's more. Okay. Pope Francis said, the Virgin Mary is the way God himself prepared to come into the world. Okay. It says, let us pray together, entrusting to her intercession the salvation and peace awaited by all men and women of our time. Oh, not me. Sorry. Well, sorry, not sorry. Okay. This other one says, in the Gospel of the Day, Luke 1:26 through 38, the angel does not call Mary by her name, but with a new name, full of grace. Full of grace and therefore free from sin is the name God gives her and what we celebrate today. Everybody is a sinner, people. Everybody. Okay. Mary is dead and buried. She's not up in heaven walking around drinking coffee or anything like that. Okay. In Revelation 13, he shows this power, and in verse 2, the last part, he shows that the dragon is the one that gives him his seat and great authority. Yes, he has great authority. Notice in Revelation 13, 5 through 8. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to make war for 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Yahweh, to blaspheme his name and his house and those who dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And authority was given him over all the tribes and peoples and languages and nations. And all who dwell upon the earth will worship him, whose names have not been written from the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb who was slain. They blaspheme Yahweh's authority and try to take authority away from him and give it to Christ or Mary, the Queen of Heaven. That's taking or stealing Yahweh's authority. But if you read, even if y'all might think using Yahweh's name, y'all believe in these things, if you read over in Isaiah 42:8, it says, I am Yahweh, that is my name, and my glory I will not give to another, nor my praise to graven images. So your little crucecitas have no spiritual power whatsoever. That's only a sun symbol. That's why vampires hated those things in the movies. Okay, because that's a sun symbol, and a sun gives what? Light. That's why vampires are allergic to crosses, people. That's the only reason. Okay, so Yahweh does not give his glory to another, nor his praise. Graven images. Okay, capiche? Let's see. Now you come to the United States in prophecy. Revelation 13:11. And I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, but he spoke like a dragon. Notice here in just the next section from an article from the Chicago Tribune.com, says Tony Blair in Chicago says faiths must unite for peace in the Middle East. So obviously these things were already being foretold, right? Even as of back then. I think I was watching, like I said, I was watching that video earlier. These these accords, these peace treaties have been going on for about 70 years. Okay, so again, people, that's prophetical, and if that doesn't tell you something, like I said, I'm gonna look more into it. Religion and faith must be used as a force to bring peace. As a force to bring peace. Religion and faith are being forced to bring peace. Wow. Our Messiah and the prophets, they didn't teach that, not at all. To bring peace to the chronically troubled Middle East and other parts of the world, former British Prime Minister Tony Blair said Wednesday in a speech in Chicago. We're going to have to get involved and stay involved until the job is done, Blair told an audience of about 1,000 people at a forum on religion and politics in the Fairmont Hotel, sponsored by the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. Ooh, that is something here to look into. The Chicago Council on Global Affairs. After he left the Prime Minister post in 2007, Blair was chosen to negotiate the Israeli-Palestinian conflict on behalf of the United States, the United Nations, Russia, and Europe, a coalition known as the Quartet on the Middle East. This is from the ChicagoTribune.com. The second beast rose up where there were no nations, languages, multitudes, and so forth. He's coming up out of the earth, not out of the sea. The sea are the multitudes, nations, and languages. The first beast rose up where there were multitudes, nations, and languages. The second beast rose up where there were no multitudes. In 1492, America was supposedly discovered, right? But you can't discover what's already there. That's only a few hundred years old, or a few years ago. It took about 300 years for this land to develop. It's only in the last 100 years that you see any technology developing to bring forth a nuclear bomb that can darken the sun. The second beast had two horns. These are two religions. You have Protestants and Catholics ruling America. You have the Catholics, then you have the Protestants that are called daughters of this great whore. They have a great roar today all over the world, right? You have all these Christians, supposed Christians, Catholics, Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, Coptic Christians, and even Jews that are part of this beastly religious system. That they use religion and politics, which is why I still can't see why they didn't vote that other guy that was running for president a few years back. What was his name? He was a Mormon, but anyways. You have to be willing to give in to what's already been established, people, to be president. You can't just come and say, well, I'm going to change the world, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Anyways. But the main two ruling religions here in the U.S., these two horns, are Catholics and Protestants. Notice in Revelation 13:12 through 17, and he exercised all the authority of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast, Rome. Like I stated, you have Roman authority here in the U.S. Look at the police badges. They look like they're small, mini Roman shields. And then if you look in the law books, you'll find a lot of the Latin language written in there as well. And then you have all these idolatry, statues, images, crosses. I mean, that's why it says, people, and the whole world wondered or worshipped, followed, obeyed after the beast. You guys, Christians, Catholics, all that kind of stuff. Okay, all right. And deceives, in Revelation 13:14, and deceives those who dwell on the earth by those acts of power which he had authority to do in the sight of the beast, saying to those who dwell on the earth that they should make a likeness of the beast which had the wounded by a sword, and they live. Babylon. We have a Babylonian system here in the U.S. And he had power to give life to the likeness of the beast, that the likeness of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the likeness of the beast should be killed. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, that they should give to themselves a mark upon their right hands or in their foreheads. If you have freely gone to Sunday church service, it is because you have been lied to that you have been lied that our Messiah was resurrected on Sunday, which he wasn't. This Christ figure, this likeness, was the one that they put that resurrected on Sunday, or the day of the sun. So you're worshiping the sun god. See? Okay. And that no one might buy or sell unless he had this mark, or the authority of the beast, right? Because when they do finally pass this national Sunday law, you won't be able to work on Sunday, which you're going to be okay with because you already don't work on Sunday, right? But like I said, people, just because the majority are doing it does not mean it's right. All right. This is the Roman Catholic, or the Holy Roman Empire, as it was called, wounded unto death. But his deadly wound was healed, and it comes back stronger than ever, blaspheming Yahweh in his house, and changing, that is, causing the world to go against Yahweh's laws, right? You are being told that it is okay to eat defiled meats. You are told that it is okay to worship any day you want. I mean, I think that's what pretty much the Bible of Satan was based on, by this guy, Anton LaVey. Somebody told me that somebody he or she knew went to that place years back, or somebody read it. They got a copy of it somewhere, and it says pretty much just do whatever you want. Okay, so let's see. He's causing all the people in the United States. That's what it's saying here. He's causing, or he's going to force this upon all the people in the United States. Not only the United States, but all of those who dwell upon the earth. Now, these are their plans. Now, if you notice all the scriptures and you put them together and trying to do this, they don't bring it about. But in trying to do this, a third part of man will be killed, over a fourth part of the earth, in and around the great river Euphrates, by nuclear war. So this new world religion, new world power, or new world will be based on all but nothing but Catholic Roman rule. So I'm thinking this is why they may not be able to bring it about, because you're going to have all these nations saying, no. You know, especially if they're trying to get, the Muslim and the Arab world involved. They have their own day of worship as well. You think they're going to give in to the Pope? The second beast does great wonders by bringing fire down from heaven. This is the nuclear bomb. It explodes above the earth. Fire comes down from heaven, and it consumes everything. The people are deceived into thinking we're going to have peace through these means. By force? Are you kidding me? I don't think so. It's like to say, people, if the shoe doesn't fit, it's not going to fit by force either. Okay. Remember in Revelation 6, the authorities, the governments give the quartet this authority to bring this about. This two-horned beast here has this power. They have more of it than any other nation on the earth. In fact, they have about the same as a whole combination of other nations on earth. Pretty cool stuff, huh? Let me finish the section here. This last section here is called Pope Urges Religious Reconciliation. This is from May 4th, 2009. Okay, so obviously these things have been escalating, have been planned out throughout the years, and are just now, again, trying to come back into effect, right? This is Pope Urges Religious Reconciliation, May 4th, 2009. Pope Benedict the 16th? I'm sorry, he's got Roman numerals. Pope Benedict has called for interfaith reconciliation on the second day of his Middle East tour, saying religion should be a force for unity, not division. Well, too late, buddy. Your cause has caused all these divisions. I'm a funny guy, man. I'm sorry. But it's a fact. It is because of Rome that you have all of these divisions throughout the world already. So now he's trying to say, well, that's not what we meant to do. Okay. I'll read it again so y'all might understand it. He says, saying religion should be a force for unity, not division. Well, guess what, buddy? History proves that your people, the Roman authority, has always used force and has caused a lot of divisions. Had caused a diaspora, right? It's what the Jews called a dispersion. People are scattered everywhere. But in this sense, you have a division of religions in all the churches. How in the world are you going to get all those churches to come into unity when they're all proclaiming to be the true church? That is your morning joke. During a speech in the Al Hussein Mosque in the Jordanian capital Amman on Saturday, he said manipulation of religion is the real root of divisions. No. Certainly, the contradiction of tensions and divisions between the followers of different religious traditions sadly cannot be denied. Well, it doesn't say they're going to fix it either or make it any better, right? But however, is it not also the case that often it is the ideological manipulation of religion, sometimes for political ends, that is the real catalyst for tension and division, and at times even violence in society? It's asking a question. Yeah, it is. A lot of people have been killed for their beliefs. Christians, when I remember reading over there in Israel or wherever they're at, have been killed by Arabs. I don't know why, but I guess they were trying to proclaim that they were the true worshipers. I would like to make a safe assumption that the Arabs don't look upon Christians as true worshipers because they eat defiled meats. He said Muslims and Christians must strive to be seen as faithful worshipers of God because of the burden of our common history that has often been marked by misunderstanding. Yeah, a major burden, I would say. That doesn't mean he can make everybody on earth do it, but he's given the authority. This United States is given authority by the Pope, by the first beast whom he now worships. Remember how the people are killed with famine, disease, epidemics, and war. These are the three things that they bring forth as shown in Revelation 6, shown held back in Revelation 7, and shown turned loose in Revelation 9. The mark spoken of in Revelation 13:7 is allegiance to the beast. The mark is the change that Daniel said would take place, speaking against Yahweh, changing the feast days and other laws. You can see Yahweh isn't going to just turn the wars loose and let it stay for a long period of time. It's impossible. Everyone would die under those circumstances. There wouldn't be a third of them die. There'd be a lot more than that. 4/5 of the earth's population is going to die as it is in the short time that Yahweh is going to allow this to take place. Now, going back again now with all of that we have learned in mind, and notice the quartet again in Revelation 6. Okay, and I looked and behold a pale horse, and the name of him who sat upon it was Death, and showed the grave followed with him, and power was given to them over a fourth part of the earth to kill with sword and with hunger and with pestilences. It's given to the quartet, to these four messengers, to make war in these manners, these three manners, and they are taking place, and it's been proven in the past to do so up until this time period. And now we're seeing the whole thing starts in Iran. And of course, it's not going to stop here. Everyone knows this is not going to stop. There's no way to stop it, they said. They can fight against it, but there's no way to stop it. It's going to take something from Yahweh, the supreme head of all creation, to ever turn this thing around, and they started now. pretty cool stuff, but scary, people, at the same time, because we should be scared, but we shouldn't be scared in our own ignorance, because we ourselves have caused this, the people, the inhabitants of the earth, because we have changed, broken, and transgressed the everlasting covenant. Does that make sense? Say yes, Oli. Okay. Again, it is very vital. That is great information. Like I said, you might not see anybody else breaking stuff down to you like that other than the house of Yahweh. I can understand it because I've been studying it for almost 15 years now, that these things are real. But what can we do? He says in another article, I don't know if it's that one, that he said, I think that if the whole world were to do a U-turn and repent of all their sins, Yahweh might relent from punishing us, or he might put an end to all these wars. But what is written, people. Okay, there's no way to make our Father in heaven a fool. It's just what it is. It's a sad reality, but like I said, we can only blame ourselves for these things that are coming to pass and all these wars. And to bring about peace by forcing religions to come together, that doesn't work. I can have a relationship if I were a fully 100% worshiper and follower in what I'm studying, with my neighbor who might be a God worshiper. We don't have to hang out because we're told not to have nothing to do with unbelievers. But if I'm cutting the lawn per se and he comes and makes chit chat, I'll talk with him, and say, okay, sir, thank you, have a great day, and take care of yourself. That's it. But a lot of times we also have people that, oh, he's not a Christian, especially Christians, all these Christians that are like that, they're just, listen, people, if I were a millionaire and have had this belief, I've been doing my best. If I were a snotty rich guy, right, I would have been trying my hardest and my best to be the most humble man you could probably meet. Okay, but these things, people, are brought about our own hatred, lust, and greed, and this is exactly what the end point will be. It started with one death, the carnal killing the spiritual minded, Cain killing Abel, and now it's on a global ordeal. Like Megadeth, the heavy metal group, says, brother will kill brother, spilling blood across the land, killing for religion, all this, something I don't understand. It's the truth, people. So I told my dad, because when I was growing up, that one came out in the 90s, that album of Holy Wars, or Rust in Peace, rather. And in that album, they sing a lot about this, He says military intelligence, two words that can't make sense. I would tell my dad, not all heavy metal speaks about the devil like he would assume, right? I said, this album actually speaks about anti-government or pro-government kind of stuff. But then he eventually told me, he's like, well, yeah, because I asked him, didn't you ever listen to rock when you were growing up? And he said, well, yeah. He says, I used to like a lot of Kiss. So there you go. But yeah, people, it's very cool stuff. It's very informative stuff. And again, I guess if you're watching this and if you're understanding the scriptures, finally, you might be getting called out. Okay, listen to these things that are being shown to you in these videos, except for my dumb jokes and probably stuff that I talk about that has nothing to do with the video. But Yahweh and Yeshua are not the names of gods, and God worship is against Yahweh worship, and it is the God of this world that does have this whole world confused, like it says in Revelation 12:9, who has deceived the whole world. Okay, but like I said again, your churches probably have not taught you the difference between Yahweh and God. Most churches have taught people that Yahweh and God are the same being when they're not. Okay, watch my videos on that Yahweh is not a God. Okay, covers Daniel chapter 6, tells you clearly that it was Yahweh who found Daniel the prophet innocent into not praying to any God or any man. What does that tell you? Okay, so if he was praying to God, then he would have broken that covenant that Cyrus or the king made, right? I mean, you have to read it carefully, people. It's telling you in there. But now that you have this concept in your mind that Yahweh is not God, you can hopefully read that chapter, Daniel 6, and see that our Father in heaven is not God or a God. Okay, our Father in heaven has a name, people, a personal name. And when he wants his people to get to know him, like if I want to get to know you, you know my name is Oli. Okay, I put Oli de Leon in my videos here or whatever on this side. That is my name. I'm not putting on there, anything dumb like, I was thinking about putting the little the lampstand, but I'm just me. Okay, so people, the comment section is open. Leave your thoughts, comments, questions, views, opinions, whatever. And like I stated, anything y'all might help, which probably you guys will never ask. I haven't seen really just one question. Other than that, I've just been getting comments. Okay, so I'll look more through that video here in a little while, and if I see anything more that's got to be covered, I will share it with you guys. Okay, see you all in the next video. Cheerio.